Why don't we have eyes?
She did not feel comfortable drawing eyes.
Why?
I'm not good.
I'm
not good with eyes either.
Those are eyes right there.
Yeah,
those are
Benny,
great eyes.
Those are great eyes.
What the fuck are you talking about, Benny? Those are great eyes.
Cheater.
Just when you draw mine, they angle down a little bit.
Fan art.
And I don't want to be here anymore.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to Keystone Film Review. We just saw Don't Worry, Darling, or as I like to call it, Drama the Movie.
Drama the Movie.
Directed, of course, by Olivia Wilde. Written by Katie Silberman, Carrie Van Dyke, and Shane Van Dyke. Starring Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Olivia Wilde, Kiki Lane, Gemma Chan, Nick Kroll, Sydney Chandler, Kate Berlant. A lot of comedians. But this, of course, is a movie marred by the behind-the-scenes drama, some of which is true, some of which is not true. But we're not going to talk about that. That's not what this video is about. This video is just about the movie and how it adds up. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year.
It was for a little bit there, as long as time could tell, until everything spurred out in a tornado.
Probably until early August, it was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And then, when the drama came out, I was like, eh.
There was a lot to unravel, whether or not you were part of the news headlines or not.
Yes.
In the wise words of Harry Styles, he was right on one thing. This movie does feel like a movie.
Yes. This movie, of course, is about a 1950s town where all the men work at the same job, all the women are stay-at-home wives, and Florence Pugh's character starts to begin to suspect that things are not as they seem, and it kind of spirals out from there. The first thing I want to say is I hate to bring up things that people have already mentioned, but Olivia Wilde once said that if a movie is bad, it is 100% the director's fault. Everything about this movie is great except for the direction. And I'm not saying that just to attack her because of all the drama or anything. You know, I loved Booksmart. I still love Booksmart. She's still incredibly talented, regardless of any allegations of lying or what have you. I still am a fan of her work, but this movie very much felt like the director was distracted and didn't know what they wanted. Herb, of course, being the director. The writing is top-notch. The acting, other than Harry Styles, is very good. Harry Styles, I think, is incredibly miscast. I'm not going to shit on the guy. He's mainly a pop star.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say, like, you know, he's not good at acting. He's better than I expected him to be, but his eyes are dead the whole time.
Especially during his more emotional scenes.
Yeah, like he elevates his voice really well. Of course, as a singer, he's really good with how his voice should sound, but his facial reactions just do not add up, in my opinion. I blame that more on casting than I do him. It makes you kind of wonder how that would have been if we had Shia LaBeouf. Of course, I know.
And you do a lot of that in this movie, especially like, man, I wonder how Shia would have done that.
Yeah.
And then there's also parts where you're like, man, if Shia was in this movie, he would take so much off of Florence that like he would take more of the movie for himself than Florence would kind of feel like.
And like not on purpose. No. It's just because he does.
It's just he's got that star power.
Yeah, he's got that talent where he kind of just draws you to him. Of course, we're not condoning Shia LaBeouf at all. Just he is a very talented man.
He's also talented at other things that are really fucked up. Yes.
It just made you wonder, you know, knowing what could have happened and just seeing Harry Styles in this is just like, this could have been a lot better. And that's where I'm at for the most part, is like, it could have been so much better.
Yeah, to the point where, like, even just Harry, I don't even think, just somebody else besides even those two, I think somebody else could have filled that role so much better than Shia or Harry. And it kind of sucks because that's a huge part of the movie is Harry Styles' character, Jack. How it felt like Harry wasn't giving it the best, I mean, the best he could, yes, but the best that could have been. Even Shia probably couldn't have done. Like, there's a lot of scenes in this movie where you're like, wow, Shia probably could have ruined that part. not ruined, but not as given what you would like vision it. I don't know how Harry got the part, but and good for him for doing it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like as far as set goes, I think the set looked awesome. Like the setting and everything like that, all the set pieces all looked awesome. Sound design freaked me out because there's parts where sounds didn't sound like they should sound. Like Saran wrap sounded like mayo at a certain point. And
yeah, that was a weird choice. Music is top notch. The score is incredible.
The score is really good.
Possibly my favorite part. The shot choice. Matthew Libatique is the cinematographer, which is weird because like some of the shot choices were really weird. The director is who picks the shot choices, and then the director of photography just kind of gives them what they want to the best of their ability. So it's kind of just weird what happened there. It's not bad. It's just the angles are weird at times, and it kind of took me out of it. I'm sure most people wouldn't even notice. But yeah, technically, it is a fantastic film. The writing is really good. There's just so much potential there that was not met, and it's sad really because it could have been a great film, and it's just like it's a movie. It's okay.
It's a movie. I liked it. I didn't like it enough to care entirely too much about it, especially with the plot holes more towards the end of the movie than anything. The first 2 acts were really good, actually. But then it kind of unraveled on what is actually going on within the mystery of the whole setting and the town and the victory and all that. It just went a route that I wasn't expecting it to go. Not for the better.
Yeah, I think with a different director, not a better director. Olivia Wilde, I still think is a very good director.
Yeah.
But I think this was not the best project for her. I think someone else, because Booksmart's a comedy. Like, it's a coming-of-age comedy. This is a huge leap from that, which is fine. I'm glad that she tried to branch out. But there are so many impactful, thrilling moments that you could tell just fell flat because of the choices she made.
As far as an average moviegoer, who's probably eating all this drama up and loving this shit, you might love it. You might love this movie.
I don't blame people that do love it. I know there's a few people out there already that love it.
So like an average person, you might love it. As far as stories are told and laid out and just handed to us and hope for the best, it's there, but it's falling through our fingers,
Yeah.
Like it's handed right to our hands, and it's like, oh shit, it's on my lap now. Shucketh. But yeah, I mean, Florence was, fantastic as could be. Nick Kroll was hilarious in the little time he got to shine in it.
Yeah.
Chris Pine, I wish he had more. I really wish because he was a presence.
He was underutilized.
He was not a president. He was a presence that was in the shadow of the movie, and you kind of wish, even like 5 to 10 minutes more would have been awesome.
Yeah. Well, before we get into spoilers, ratings, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't, it was okay. It was okay. It's just the wasted potential is what gets me the most. It could have been a great movie, could have been one of the best of the year. But in the end, it just kind of falls flat.
I was leaning 2.5. I feel like it's a little bit mean. It's not necessarily mean. It's an average rating as far as it goes, but I feel like I should do 3, but I'm leaning 2.5 pretty hard. I'm gonna give it a 3, not to sound mean, because I don't know.
If I went strictly based off my disappointment, I would say 2.5. But like that's unfair to the movie.
It is unfair
to base a rating on my disappointment of it.
I'll say 3. There's worse movies than this that have a 3, in my opinion.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll say 3 too.
From here on out, we will talk about spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, just click off this movie. We love you anyway.
Kisses, smooches.
Smooches. So this movie, if you've read into it at all, and I kind of was expecting it a bit, Chris Pine's character is based off of a very famous incel advocate who I do not know the name of. I'm glad I don't know the name of him because he sounds like a horrible person. But so the whole movie is kind of based on how women are expected to do so much for men, but without getting a seat at the table, so to speak. I think that that's a very powerful message. Again, as we talked about before, one that is just kind of brushed over and could have been so much more impactful. This tried to do its own little twist with, if you've seen the movie, I'm hoping you've seen the movie at this point. It takes place in the 50s, the majority of the movie, but in reality, it's modern times. And Florence Pugh is being held captive by her boyfriend or husband. They never clarify what she is in the real world, which is Harry Styles. He just is. And he's got like a whole Clockwork Orange situation going on, and like putting into a virtual reality world. I really liked that aspect of it, but again, it just was kind of brushed over and not really focused on, and could have had a real punch that it just didn't.
See, that's, I feel like, where you and I didn't like that. That was the twist that I didn't like that much.
I like it in theory. I don't like how it is in the movie, but I do like it in theory. Like I could see where they were going, but I feel like it failed.
Yeah, there's a lot of other branches of media that I feel like are going that route that, this isn't reality. I don't know. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, God. But I liked the idea of she's not all there at the place she's at, and something fucky is going on, or
like
she's being drugged, and yes, and something like that. So when it went virtual reality,
that would have been better. Yes, and I agree with you that the virtual reality thing is kind of a cheap way out of it, but I like that as a horror element where it is kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
That is what some people kind of do want, is that like just women to stay
100%.
and be their little servants. And
Ready Player One, domestic violence video game.
That's the new title of this movie.
Even when they're doing like the whole like looking for his background and stuff like that as Jack Chambers in the real world, they're like, oh, he's got a British nationality. He's talking in American accent during the real times too. Did you catch that?
His Harry Styles' accent is very inconsistent throughout.
His accent was super fluctuated.
Yeah,
the whole
super
thing.
fluctuated, which I guess could be like his real accent coming through, but then he also kind of has a British accent in the real world.
Yeah.
Again, Harry Styles miscast. Don't blame him at all. He's a pop star. He's not an actor, and unfortunately, people are trying to make him an actor.
I don't know. They also don't say how long she's been in this process.
Yeah.
So, a doctor who's working 30 hours a day apparently disappears, and no one's checking up on her or looking on what's going on there.
And that's something that could be easily explained, but it's just not.
But it's just the whole side real plot of what's going on is very glanced over, and very rushed.
All they had to do was show Harry Styles writing an email using her email that she quits without notice, something like that, but they don't. And again, it's something that is easily explained, you if you really want to think about it, but it's more distracting that they don't explain it, that they don't explain how this surgeon is not missed in the real world.
I honestly, I really can't wait to figure out when she wakes up and she's completely strapped with a dead body right next to her.
Yeah.
I'm glad she got out of that world, but now she's fucked. She can't.
I mean, she can. They live in an apartment. She can scream, and I mean, like, if she lives in New York, no one's gonna come help her if she screams. But
there's also a whole little side thing that goes on with Chris Pine right at the end of the movie that really annoyed me. Again, we're already in spoilers, but obviously he's fucked because Florence Pugh is escaping and trying to get back to the real world. And he's like, you gotta stop her. She's already there. Fuck. And then Gemma Chan just absolutely stabs the shit out of him for no reason. Doesn't seem like she's a prisoner in this world in any sense. They also don't clarify that she is or is not. And says, I'll take care of this now. And then nothing from that. So she just stabs Chris Pine for almost no reason. Maybe we missed an end credit scene. Maybe. Who knows?
did leave before the credits were over.
So there's that. So that was just really fucking confusing and felt like a
also like the MacGuffin. The thing that drives Florence Pugh to start looking is a plane. If it's a virtual reality world, why did they program a plane to fly through the sky?
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
It's little things like that. They're just like, and then there's just those big loud booms that make you think they're working on an atomic bomb or something.
That was never mentioned at all.
Never mentioned. It's just little things like that. It gives too much to pick apart at the end.
It had a lot of potential. If literally all those things that we literally just addressed were handled correctly, this probably would have been a really fucking awesome movie.
I personally would have liked to seen better shot choices and more impactful editing.
Yeah.
I think the editing's not bad, but it doesn't help the story at all. Again, most of my technical problems can go to it's obviously, if rumors are to be true, a very distracted director, and it really does kind of seem like that. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong because I wasn't there, but it seems like
that's
she
for
was
another
distracted.
reviewer to talk about.
Yeah, that is for another reviewer to talk about. But yeah, it's an okay movie. It's just it could have been so much better. That's the biggest takeaway. Yeah, what did you think of Don't Worry, Darling? If you have seen it, comment down below your thoughts.
Did you think Miss Flo absolutely killed it?
Miss Flo did kill it, and
yeah.
Who would have been a better Jack?
Who would have?
Let us know.
Jack? Leonardo, probably.
I mean, Florence Pugh, I think, is too old for him. So.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.